I gotta get me a plate. What's going on? Gotta go live for a little bit. Happy Juneteenth to anybody who is celebrating and showing love to communities of African ancestry. So whether you join me this evening for the few minutes that I'm sit here, and or you join later, I'm gonna drop a couple of things. May talk about Juneteenth. I will talk a little bit about Juneteenth. And yeah, I wrote a couple of things down. And just as you know, as a reintroduction, I'd like to cover, perhaps things you guys can look forward to on my page moving forward for the second half of the year. Golly, it is June. It's June already, man. So that means we got 6 more months to get it in for 2023. Congrats to all of you all who have been putting in time, effort, attention, energy, good energy into yourselves and the things that you've been working on first half of the year. Sure, it's a struggle for many. Everybody's going through something. We're not too far removed from the pandemic, which means that, regardless of how folk are showing up externally on the job, amongst friends, family, at the mosque, temple, synagogue, church, or whatnot, folks still are going through mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial crisis, turmoil. Sometimes it's not fear that a person or people group have to overcome, which is a lot of what's talked about on a day like today, Juneteenth. Like the fear of still being, slaves, and not feeling free. A lot of that is fear-based conversation. It's not always fear though that is holding people back. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. I got some rice. I haven't cooked in a long time, whatnot, but I got some rice. If you know about cooking, and you know anything about rice specifically, you gotta watch it. So give me a second.
Yeah, that's all I had. Homeless man asked me for change and I gave him that. Then I got to the corner and found a quarter. At least I can't say he got a dime, kinda sorta. So as I'm crossing the street, I see a man laughing, colored him happy as I was passing. And he grabbed me, he said, son, I ain't got a dime. Please, can you spare me 50 cents? If not now, maybe another time. He said, my mother and brother's fine, but I ain't ate in 3 whole days. I ain't lying, family, but I'm trying, cause it would have been out of order. So I figured I'd help him make a quarterback. Give it in my one and only quarter that I had to count in the corner. I'ma need some good news. Quarter my problem, my dollar, making big shoulders from the weight of my worries. It's smart, I have to take over my territory.
Alright, so sure, if you are ever on my page, then you know that got a plate. And you know that I don't really go live much, but we're gonna kick something a little bit different off for the second half of the year, and perhaps we'll do OmegaMcBride Mondays live at around 9 or something like that. Hey man, so one thing that comes into mind, Taurus Faber, what up? Taurus Faber 89, you still there? Thank you for joining OmegaMcBride. This water in. Make sure you're drinking your water. Make sure you stay hydrated. I mean, I don't really go live much. I figured I would for a little bit, especially those of you all who I know I have to catch up on some messages. If you have DM'd me and I have not gotten back to you, please forgive me. Charge it to my head, not my heart. My intention would definitely be to get back to you as early as possible. Working with artists to strengthen songwriting, write better songs, or strengthen their songwriting weaknesses, write better songs, increase your catalog. Artist catalog is becoming a lot more important nowadays with generations that are coming up loving a sense of nostalgia. So the more, although new releases are important, the more music that you do have to build your catalog put you in a better position to not only be heard and loved and whatnot, but be able to build something for yourself, legacy, things of that nature. So if you happen to join this live, having some fries, you happen to join this live a little bit later and not necessarily now, and if you have a question for me, you can feel free to leave it down on the bottom on the bottom of this video once it's reposted. I believe I can repost this. I haven't done this in a while. What else? I did write down a couple of things. I want to make sure that I say while I am on my impromptu live. Salute to those of you all who held some kind of gathering or informative event about our ancestors who were still in chains on this day over 100 years ago, while the rest of the world were moving on with the understanding that slavery had been emancipated, or that the people had been emancipated. Shout out and love to all of the other cultures who have love for us. If you have love for the African in America, and it's actually in your heart, and it's not just like, better say you got a black friend. Right. If you really have love for our community and want to see us move forward, and want to see us grow and be better and do well, shout out to you, man, because we live in a nation where there's been a long-standing fight for justice, equality, freedom. And although we've made a bunch of progress, there's still this will, as in we continue to reapproach some of the same issues and situations and things of that nature. So the more people that we have aligned with the idea of our community moving forward and growing, I'm not sure that we look at the intent of like why things aren't the way they are. A lot of times, I don't think we look at, okay, well, it's easier for us to see something the way that it is and accept it versus asking the question of, well, why is it like this? Does it have to be like this? Is it hurting or helping us? Can it change? Should it change? So I'm all about being pro moving us forward, pulling us up, instead of keeping us stagnated and feeling, like we're stuck because we're not trees. We're human beings, and you know, I'd be encouraging folks to just definitely ask those questions as to why certain things are the way that they are. Sort of kind of leads me to some of the points that I wrote down. I want to make sure that if you are someone who's following my page, or if you're on my page, man, that you know who I am. I mean, you know, I probably will do these live a little bit more, man. Just to keep a sense of realism. That you all know, it's not just perception, and the sense of, like, you know, not just showing up on Instagram to be this or be that for him, her, or them. This is me being myself. And so, yeah, greedy ass. Yeah, man, I'm hungry, bro. I had to, Daryl, what up, man? You would come on and say something like that, right? I ain't ate all day, and this ain't nothing but fried. And I've got some rice cooking. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rice, but we're gonna make something happen with it. But I was definitely saying, I have a couple of things that I want to make sure I say while I'm on here. For those of you guys who are a part of my friends list, if y'all are on my page, man, and you just watching, that's cool. If you're on my page though and you love me and you are encouraged or inspired by what you see, feel free to engage, say what's up, like, share, comment, save on this live, because it is an option on Instagram that I have not been necessarily using frequently. So here we are. So let's drop. There's 5 specific things, man, I'm gonna throw on here. Make sure that this is on my page. We're gonna start this off with a quote. Yep, I did write a couple of things down. Let him put his glasses on. I wanted some barbecue sauce, man. I'm going to get ketchup. With the ketchup smacking up, I ain't tripping. All right, man. What y'all do for Juneteenth? Anybody do anything specific for Juneteenth? Bon, what up, dog? Appreciate you joining, homie. It's been a minute. I gotta get you in the next video, man. All right, here we go. A couple of things let me throw on here, man. All right, here go a quote. Take this throughout the rest of y'all week. All right, here go. One, it says, the opinion of 10,000 men means nothing if none of them know anything or much of anything about the subject. I'll say it again. The opinion of 1,000 men means nothing if none of them know much of anything about the subject. Well, one thing that I believe and I live by, I also teach, is that, you know, when you give more audience to what others think of you, when you get upset about it, get caught up by it, distracted by it, that's like saying that what someone else thinks of you is more important than what you think of yourself. This quote reminds me of that. This quote is just 10,000 people. It don't even matter what the opinion of 10,000 men think if they don't know too much about the subject. So, you know, my understanding of, you know, not letting other people's thoughts or opinions be outshine my thoughts of myself is because I'm the one who knows my life. So if you were to happen to give me a differing opinion or a differing perspective, or a perspective differing from the facts of my day-to-day or my childhood or my life as a teen or as a young adult, if what you say about me doesn't align or go along with what I know about myself, it's mute. I can't hear you. You know, if you try to treat me lesser than the person that I know that I am based off of the work that I put in, things that go unseen, that's on you. You know, I allow everybody to show me who they are based off of how you treat me. And even if you decide to treat me from a place of unhealed trauma, things of that nature, I mean, you know, that's you showing who you are. And, you know, we all have things that we're dealing with. And then we all make a choice when it comes to other people. You know, either we're going to love them the way that they love us, or we're going to do something different. But watch out for folk opinion, man, people thinking that they're higher than they really are, because everybody's living their own individual life. And I know that if a person has an opinion of me that isn't who I really am, especially if it's somebody who doesn't have the courage to come and talk with me or speak with me, and somebody's treating me lesser than who I really am, I know that they're a coward. A lot of them be pussies. You know, that's a whole other conversation, but you know, that's really what it be. You know, it be people in their, you know, feminine energy, especially if it's dudes, you know, who try to bully behind the scenes and things of that nature, or mistreat or mishandle and won't be accountable. I know that those are cowards, you know, guys who, you know, are people who still have, you know, places that are unhealed, and they want to get, you know, other people's OmegaMcBride brand boxer briefs in a bunch. But, you know, moving forward, hold on, let me check on my right, so I'll be right back. All right, bet. We good. All right, here we go. One, bam. If you are a dude of African ancestry and you are living in America, make sure that you watch the movie Chevalier. Chevalier is spelled Chevallier. Say that one more time. If you are a man, doesn't matter how, or doesn't matter your age or your education, if you are a man of African ancestry living in America, make sure that you watch the movie. You can actually, probably shouldn't be saying this because, you know, homie deserves for us to actually go to the theater and see it. But if you can't get to the theater, man, you could catch that movie on one of the free streaming services. Chevalier, Chevallier. Very briefly, it's about a violinist, a guy who was the product of a slave, and he was an illegitimate son of a plantation slave master and a slave. His name was Joseph Boulogne. I actually, before this movie dropped, I posted about him maybe like a year or so ago. He's very popularly known for someone who went up against Mozart, you know, one of the great composers of maybe the 17th century or something like that. But he was of African ancestry, and this happened. His story, or this movie, takes place during the time. He's also a poet, a writer, a fighter. But this takes place during the time. This is why it's so important for you guys to see this, because in our communities, man, when you see that dude that might be a little different than the rest, might speak a little different, might walk a little different, might have a bigger dream or a different kind of vision, or I don't know, he might dress, walk, carry himself, might speak up a little different, whatever it is. A lot of times that's a reminder, man, of how unique our men and women were and have been throughout history, and throughout a time that actually America does not teach, but it's in our blood. It's in our blood to shine in many of the ways that we do. But the movie Chevalier, though, happens during a time where our ancestors were in slavery. So it's a good look at, this is the most important reason why I'm saying it. It's a good look at the caliber of men that are originally a part of, like, the men that we come from. That's what I'm saying. So this dude was a high caliber violinist, so he played, his instrument playing was right up there with the Mozarts and the Bachs, and he was also an expert fighter, doing like fencing and stuff like that. He was a poet and a writer. These are things that are naturally, you know, in our blood to express ourselves through things like the arts and you know, oratory, you know, having oratory skills and things of that nature, using our hands. So go watch that movie, man. Check out Chevalier. So you can see the caliber of men they made slaves out of. That's what I want to say. Bam. That's what I want to say. They didn't make slaves out of dummies, nitwits, guys who didn't think, or, you know, and there's even parts in the movie where, you know, he's influenced to be something other than what he had become through his struggle, and he's challenged to stand his ground on who he knows he is. And it's important that, you know, we see depictions like that of the men that we come from, because a lot of times the signs that are around us tend to influence us to not only think lesser than, but to show up as lesser than who we were created to be. Number 2, I got right here. Hey, beyond the chocolate, welcome if you're still there. Let's see. Okay. Number 2. All right. This goes for this page and anybody else on any other page. Like, there's 8 billion people in the world. 8. It might be a little bit over 7, maybe a little bit over 8, a little bit under 8, whatever. It's right around there. Here's what this means at the end of the day. Okay. Okay. So, out of 8 billion people, you got people with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these other different things that you come across, man. YouTube. But just imagine that, you know, 8 billion people. Okay, that's a lot of different avenues, ways to engage. You know, I could say it so many different ways, but 8 billion is 8 billion, right? Okay, here's my point for bringing that up. You can like, you can comment, you can share, save, you can purchase from somebody in different platforms, things of that nature. Dope. All right. Welcome. I'm glad you're still here. So, when you're looking for something dope or you're coming across something dope, that's where you stay. All right. I'm making a point here. All right. You stay at the place where the person or the people is giving you something to either get throughout your day, something that you can, you know, take throughout your week, maybe be inspired by. You might be inspired by that person. Very rarely are we going to continue to watch somebody or something that we're intimidated by, or that we don't want in our lives, or don't like, or something of that nature. So stuff like following and friending someone who you don't like, you send in negative energy, you only really on that page because you can't wait to see them fall or fail, you looking for fault in what they doing. All of that is a waste of time. It's a waste of time because there's 8 billion people in the world. Like I started off saying, with there being 8 billion people in the world, we all have 100% opportunity to just find the channels and the people that align with and work for us. We don't have to sit on other people. Like anybody on my friends list, whatever, however many thousand is on there, and 100 or whatever, like, if you're not on my page, to show love and support and to, be inspired, maybe even give some of that energy back in your own way, why are you here? If you watching my stories, but you like, comment, or engage in the post, what's the point? It's cool, like, for a certain amount of time, you stick around a person's page to see what they're really about, see if they phony, if they fake, if they on some dumb shit, if they just talking, if they not really who they said they are. But after a while, once you have a understanding of the direction that they're going and the foundation that they're building, you're sticking around, not engaging, but watching. Why? Is that evil eye? You mad? You not sure what to say? Could be a bunch of those different things. But I want to encourage, this is number 2 of number 5 on things that I want to make sure that I said. Encourage that, we do things, especially those of us, man, because it's Juneteenth, we only got a couple more. It's sunset, so it's basically the next day. But for the most part, especially those of us who are of African ancestry, and you on this page, let's do things with purpose. Let's like know why we, you know what I'm saying, and understand that we are all energetic beings. So like, if that would have to mean that if you send an energy that isn't love thy neighbor as thyselfish, if it's on this page, it's coming back. Or you can sign your own death certificate if you like. You can formulate your own net that you want yourself to fall in if you want, if that's the type of energy being sent over to OmegaMcBride. Other than that, man, we going straight to number 3. It's all love here. Literally, man, it's number 3. So, it's number 3. It's all love. It's all love, man. Right now, I'm sporting. This is a shirt made by another young man of African ancestry, David Hall, product of Chicago. I just thought I'd show some love, myself. Got some things going on, doing some creating and some innovating, some making and some building on my own. But it's it's all love here. If you working on something, you like to send me something, I'm in the weird on my next live, so I got you. Let me know. All right. So all love. Here's what this means. All love just means that here you more than likely aren't going to come across like material that's like being rude to myself, my community, or anyone else. Like, if that's what you're looking for here, that's not what you're gonna find. So then you go back up to number 2, which is there's 8 billion people in the world. So with 8 billion people being in the world, that means that you are more than capable of finding whomever it is that may be offering what it is you're looking for, and I'm sure that you'll find it there. But here it's going to be more music driven, inspiration, coaching, especially for those who are really passionate about hip-hop culture, or who have a skill even in the genre of R&B and would like to somehow find a way to fuse those two or become better in one of those areas. Myself, having a love for music in general, we'll continue to drop content that is conducive of the things that I love and that I'm into and have been since I was a child. So if at any point you have any questions or any comments or suggestions, you can feel free to either leave them down below, shoot a brother a DM. And again, if I haven't gotten to your DM, I do have missed messages. I want to acknowledge and be accountable for having not gotten to you. However, if you'd like to holler at me, man, and it's more of an emergency sense where you either have a project you're working on and you're looking for someone to come in and hear what you're working on, maybe kind of help you strengthen some of the areas you may be weak, hit me and just put like put a flame emoji or a 100 emoji there, so I specifically know that I need to get up with you because you're working on something specific and you kind of want me to engage with you. Those of you artists who I am already currently talking with and engaging with and working with in some way or another, salute to you. I'm sure that as we continue to move forward and engage with one another, those projects and singles and ideas that you have will continue to formulate and make something as beautiful or even more than what you envision it to be. Number 4, things that will push you as a artist and an individual that I may cover here, but I want to encourage those who may be either experiencing this is number 4 out of number 5, that you may either be experiencing this, have experienced it, or maybe kind of overcoming the effects of even seeing someone else having dealt with or been affected by, and that would be bullying and mistreatment in any way. Here it's not welcome, man. You're not gonna see OmegaMcBride, posting content with the intention of trying to make somebody else feel lesser than themselves, or and I'm not perfect, like you aren't perfect, like she or he and them aren't perfect, and everybody's got something to work on. At the same time, man, I do my best to put out the energy that I want to get back. And anybody who knows me, and man, you want to call me a fraud, put it in the comments. I know it's not happening, but because I just be myself, man. But if you've ever been around me or spent any kind of significant time with me, you'll know that I'm the type of person that I am. This is what you get. I am what you get. You see what you see is what you get with me. Doing my best to get better, and I like to be around those who are encouraged when they see other people getting better, and are looking to be an inspiration themselves by putting in the work and doing what they have to do in this life to get themselves to the next level. So bullying is something that I don't tolerate, or that I'm not into. So if you do happen to find yourself in the position of sending that energy over, I wouldn't say, I'm not a fighter, so I wouldn't say beware. but I am a child of the Most High, so I wouldn't say be scared, but I would say beware. Moving forward. Number 5. So close to halfway. And if you still there, what up, Prez? Jessica, hello, thank you for joining. Sean Presbury, appreciate you, thank you for joining. I'm just kind of going over some things that I wanted to make sure was on my page in case anybody came by later on and wanted to see whose page this is, who's the person behind it for real, and then also anyone who may have had any questions or comments or opinions or suggestions. And to let you know, going live is not something that I do often, for a plethora of reasons in the past. I just haven't, pressed the live button. But we here now, I'm moving forward. I will include going live in my McBride Mondays. Alright, so just as a recap, number 1 was make sure, man, if you are a man of African ancestry, specifically, I encourage everybody to watch the movie, but specifically you, watch the movie Chevalier. Chevalier is spelled Chevallier. It's about Joseph Boulogne, a illegitimate son of a plantation owner and a slave, man of African ancestry who was a top-notch violinist in Europe. I didn't say it was in Europe, but ended up being in Europe during the time that we were in chains. All right, excellent fighter, poet, writer, and his story is something that we need to see so that our youth and young adults, I would encourage your public school system to make sure every child in that state sees the movie, because we need to know what kind of men were actually placed in chains, which differs quite a lot from the depictions of ourselves that we were taught to believe. Anyway, number 2, 8 billion people in the world. So if you don't like what you see here, change the channel. Number 3, it's all love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not rude. It doesn't throw your mistakes in your face. And love rejoices in the truth. So you're going to get the real me. You're going to get the truth here. Whatever kind of content or information I drop, it's going to venture on the side of facts more so than fiction or nonfiction. For bullying, it's not my thing or my forte. And as I was just saying before, that happens to be some of the energy that you intend to send this way. I'm not a fighter per se. I could easily say where my dad is from. I could easily say where my mama is from. And then you would really know who I really truly am. All I would have to do is say where my dad is from, where my mama is from. And then you would have a better understanding of who I truly am, as far as capability or possibility, probabilities if this or that were to occur. However, I'm not a fighter. I'm the type of person who likes to show love and be around people who love like me. So if, like I was saying, if bullying or BS happens to be the type of energy you're sending over to my way, I wouldn't say be scared, but I am a child of the Most High, so I would encourage you to beware. Okay, number 5. I don't know what number 5 is. What up to everybody that has joined? Salute. I got it right here, and I can. Oh, okay. Hope. I wrote down hope. Hope. To lead into just speaking a little bit about Juneteenth and kind of giving a salute to those who are celebrating the day where the last crop of slaves were informed, that they were no longer having to work for free. There's a couple of things I want to talk about when it comes to just our understanding on like what that really was when Juneteenth occurred, and it's more than likely it's gonna turn into another July 4th. We getting together having barbecues and setting off fireworks. But I do think that it's important, a couple of things that we understand so that the children have a more well-rounded approach to celebrating. Facts. What up, Trio? Don't be scared, be rare. You got it. All right, look, so hope. I wrote down, says, all right, so folk want you to lose hope, man. At the end of the day, people want you to lose hope, and I want you to have none. I want you to lose hope, and they don't want you to have none. And what they mean scared. You must don't know all the hitters, Sorry, but y'all know y'all good. Prayers, I appreciate you. It's right, man. They don't know all the hitters. I know, absolutely. Don't know all the people who actually do have love for it, brother. But that's not something that I try to throw in people's face or try to build a reputation on. You just be yourself, and those who are supposed to be in your life and have your back, those are going to be the people that stick with you over time. You're not going to have to transform or transition into something that you don't want to be just so that people can show up for you or support you or celebrate your wins with you or anything like that. You be yourself, and those who are supposed to be there with you, along with you, is going to be there. But just moving forward, man, I want to throw on my page, especially the youth and young adults that may come across and just check out what's going on over here, that people are out for your hope, your sense of yourself. There are energies and principalities and spirits that are their whole agenda is to influence you to feel like a lesser version of what you are actually meant to be, or the person that even they may know who you are. So I just want to encourage y'all, man, to hold on to whatever little bit of hope that you have. You know what I'm saying? Look for people who are putting in time, effort, attention, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It can even be something illegal. I mean, you hear me say it. People are trying. I think everybody tries, man. And not everybody's circumstance is the same. And anybody at any given moment can be an inspiration to someone, depending on how things are being looked at. So hold on to your hope, man. That's my number 5. Hold on to your hope. Hold on to your sense of like things are going to get better. That's also called a growth mindset. The opposite of that would be considered a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset is like, the way things are now, or how my situation is, or how I'm feeling right now. It's gonna stay like that. It ain't no way it's gonna edge to the right or to the left or get any better. That's a fixed mindset. What we want to have is a growth mindset, where we hold on to our hope, because of the fact that we are somebody. We was actually, if you weren't a somebody, you actually would not have been born. These are the facts. If you weren't a somebody, you would not have been born. That everybody's here for something. So those who didn't make it through the egg when you did, they was the nobodies. You feel me? Like, that's how that worked. You the somebody. All right, so that leads me to speaking briefly on Juneteenth. I want to say, man, that I don't even remember exactly how long I got, for this live. It might, at any given moment it may shut off. But I do want to say a couple of things. All right, so I wrote down, talk a little bit about Juneteenth. What has slavery done to us? All right, look. So we got to deal with one another. Just like we've been dealing with one another, we got to deal with each other moving forward. When I say deal with each other, means we living amongst one another. We cannot escape being amongst and around one another in some facet or another. While we may be able to control who exactly we're around, we still will have a need for one another. I got to go to the gas station, put in gas. I need somebody who owns a gas station. I want to put on some clothes. I need somebody with a brand that, you understand what I'm saying? Like this world works and revolves around everybody engaging and doing something. What I want to say though, as it pertains to slavery and how slavery still plays a part, is I was watching something the other day that talked about how because our women of African ancestry were raped so consistently and so often, that when our people do DNA tests, that European blood is within our, these are not things that you're going to hear in school. You're not going to hear your pastor talk about this at church. And this is very rarely going to be intertwined within conversations of men of African ancestry. So I do realize that moving forward, there's a responsibility that I have to, just drop some gems on our understanding of being amongst one another, how we might be able to, live a little bit better. Shit, we all gonna go through something. We all, coming up from our own individual struggle, but I believe that there is a chance that our collective sense of ourselves can get better, and that will increase our chances of treating one another the way that we're actually supposed to. So what I was saying about the DNA was the European blood, or European blood is saturated within the DNA of African women. This is science based off of our ancestors being raped so often. And what that does is it plays a huge role when it comes to our decision making, when it comes to our emotional makeup, when it comes to our trauma and how we decide to cope and deal with our lack of understanding of ourselves. So we actually have to be intentional about trying to, beyond school, beyond the classroom and what teachers put on a test, we have to be intentional, meaning like on purpose, like actually making a conscious decision to educate ourselves on ourselves. Like, how has slavery really impacted how we treat one another? Meaning, like, we don't even realize that, we be looking at each other from a sense of, who does this person think they are? Because we come from a corrupted culture. Once we got here to America, we continue to be looked at, spoken to, and treated like that. And then when our ancestors in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood, had millionaires, with their own businesses and their own brands and their own, houses and landscaping, things of that nature. And that was burned down. So over time, we seeing ourselves build, and everything we build gets broken and torn down, then we don't realize that we're gaining a skewed or distorted understanding of what we're capable of, because every time we try, we had to deal with some old trauma. So then once you get a majority of the people used to no longer building again, no longer trying anymore, no longer attempting any more impossible, no more trying anymore, to build beyond belief, because of having to deal with our shit being torn down and burned down and broken down over so many years, then what happens is you get a group, you get a people that has developed now a mindset of, we can't. Why should we? Oh, look at him, her, them trying to do this, that, and the third. That's not going to work. And the whole time we don't realize that it's really just us on earth. We just on earth, and we get to do whatever we want to do. We get to try whatever we want to try. We get to build whatever we want to build. We get to stick with whatever we want to stick with. We get to start and finish what we want to start and finish. And if your opinion is of 1,000 men who know nothing too much about what somebody else is doing, then it means nothing. Your opinion means nothing if you don't know too much about what somebody else is really doing. If you don't know the intricacies of what they're trying, what they're, the work that they're putting in, the time and effort, it takes to develop from, something from nothing. I think we should understand how slavery also has impacted our perspective on ourselves, one another, and our capabilities, as well as, going back to, I made a point of saying that it's not always fear that's keeping us back. It's not always doubt, meaning like not really feeling like it could happen. That's not really it. A lot of times when we be, teaching or going over, man, why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? It be fear-based conversations. And the truth is, it don't be the fear most of the time. And it don't even be the doubt. It be the devastation. People that try to get stuff off the ground, a lot of times have the closest, most loved ones to them are the ones who turn into the enemy. And that oftentimes goes unseen. And so then it doesn't become a thing of fear, because that person who's now dealing with opposition from their so-called friends or family, who are actually fake people at the end of the day, it's not fear, because they wouldn't be getting opposition if they were scared of trying something. They're only getting opposition because they're courageous enough to try something. Then it's not doubt, because if that person doubted moving forward or coming up in some sort of way, or being able to develop what it is they're trying, then they wouldn't have started in the first place. So it's not fear and it's not doubt. Then what is it? It's the devastation that comes when you think that those around you, or in proximity of you, or those who may have even said out of their mouths, or within the things that they're doing, that they would like to see some improvement within our communities, or our families and friendships, or amongst just the world change, and people who believe in faith, and actually seeing the impossible occur. But then when someone actually goes from just talking about it to actually doing it, and then they realize that those who talked about it were only talking, that could be devastating. And so then we as a community, or even as a small collective of creatives, oftentimes have to silently deal with the realization that it may be just you, the one with the idea, or the one with the gall, or the courage to do or get off the ground whatever it is you want to do or get off of the ground, and it's you who has to break the slavery mentality, because those around you who may be presenting opposition may not see their mentality of who do you think you are, or that ain't gonna work, or trying to find fault in what you're doing. They don't see that as residue from slavery, and it is. All right. Anything else, man? What else, man? I'm gonna get off this live, man. I ain't even finished my fries. I got some rice that I just took off the stove, put in a bowl. Now I gotta figure out what protein gonna go with it. All right. Before I get off of here, I think I got another quote. And then I guess the rest of this can, I don't even know how long I've been on this mug, but the rest of this can wait. All right. The quote says, "Some memories are so devastating that some would prefer and even choose to forget or act as if they didn't happen. Let me say that one more time. Some memories are so devastating that some would prefer and even do choose to forget or act as if they didn't happen. Whatever that means for you, let that simmer. I appreciate you for joining. Catch me next time on OmegaMcBride Mondays IG Live. Continue courageously.